Every December, as the first snowflakes began to dust the city streets, Eleanor would retrieve a small, worn box from the top of her closet. Inside, nestled in yellowed tissue paper, was a single, simple candle. This wasn't just any candle. It was a tradition, a quiet promise she had made to her late husband, Arthur, years ago. He had always loved this time of year, the way the city sparkled and hummed with a special kind of magic. "It's like the world is holding its breath," he used to say. So, every year, on the 1st of December, she would place the candle in the window of her small apartment for C, and light it. The flame was small, a tiny golden teardrop against the vast, cold city. It flickered bravely through the frosty nights, a silent beacon in a sea of darkness. To the thousands of people bustling on the streets below, it was just another light in another window. They were all hurrying home, wrapped in their own worlds, their own joys and sorrows. No one seemed to notice the solitary candle. Eleanor didn't mind. It wasn't for them. It was for Arthur. It was her way of telling him she remembered that a part of his light still shone in her world. She would often sit in her favorite armchair, a cup of tea warming her hands, and just watch the flame dance. It was a comforting presence, a familiar friend in the quiet evenings. The years had passed, and while the sharp edges of grief had softened, a gentle ache of absence always returned with the winter chill. The candle was her companion through it all, a small act of love that anchored her to the memories they had shared. It illuminated old photographs on the mantelpiece, Arthur's warm smile, his eyes crinkling at the corners. The apartment felt a little less empty with the candle's glow filling the room. One evening, just as Christmas Eve was settling over the city like a soft blanket, Eleanor was looking out her window. The snow was falling heavily now, muffling the sounds of the world and turning the view into a dreamy, monochrome painting. She watched the flakes swirl around the streetlights, with rows of windows, most of them dark or decorated with colorful, blinking lights. And then she saw it. In a window directly across from hers, a single, steady flame flickered back. It wasn't a string of festive lights or a flashy decoration. It was just one candle, almost identical to her own, casting a warm, gentle glow into the snowy night. Eleanor blinked, thinking her eyes were playing tricks on her. She leaned closer to the glass, her breath fogging the cold pane. It was real. A lone candle in a window, mirroring hers. Who could it be? She didn't know anyone in that building. A young couple had moved in last spring, and she sometimes saw a student with a backpack full of books, but she had never spoken to any of them. For a moment, she wondered if it was just a coincidence. Perhaps they had their own traditions, their own reasons for lighting a single candle. It was possible. But as she stood there, watching the two small flames dance in silent conversation across the snowy divide, it didn't feel like a coincidence. It felt like a reply. It felt like someone, somewhere in the vast, anonymous city, had seen her light. They had seen her small act of remembrance and had chosen to light a candle of their own. She didn't know who they were or why they had done it. And in that moment, it didn't matter. A slow, warm smile spread across Eleanor's face, the first genuine, unburdened smile she had felt all season. The ache in her chest seemed to ease, replaced by a quiet warmth that spread through her like the glow from the two candles. She was not alone in her vigil. It was a connection to a love that was present, a shared moment of quiet understanding with a stranger across the street. The glow felt like a gentle hand reaching out through the darkness, A simple, beautiful, unspoken hello. And that was more than enough. Close your eyes. Let the dream do the rest.